I don't know why, but I don't think that Dana White really likes Francis Ngannou. It's really weird, or at least a feeling that he's giving everyone, because it feels like the UFC's just done nothing but kind of screw over Francis since he won heavyweight gold, or maybe even before he won heavyweight gold as well. According to Francis's agent, they haven't talked for 6 months. Dana has come out and said he doesn't necessarily mind losing Francis Ngannou if he loses. So he's the fight against Cyril Gane is his last fight on his contract. Of course, if he wins that, there's a champion clause where his contract gets extended for a year or 3 fights, whatever comes first. And after that, he wouldn't. It's weird. He doesn't. Dana White, he's a really good promoter, but it doesn't feel like he's doing a good job here. What do you think about this whole situation?
I mean, it's kind of over my head, to be honest with you. I think it really just kind of depends on how this fight goes. If Francis goes out there and has a really good performance, then I think we're kind of talking about nothing. Mm-hmm. If Francis goes out there and craps the bed and Cyril Gane takes him to school, then, kind of cut your losses and be done with it.
Why would it make sense to lose a fighter like Francis Ngannou, though?
I mean, what pay-per-view has he headlined and got a certain amount of pay-per-views? Has he? I mean, I know he's headlined at least one pay-per-view.
Yeah,
right?
And that was.
But I mean,
he's headlined 2 technically in both of his title fights against Stipe.
So I mean, but it's not like he's bringing in crazy viewership.
Is he a draw?
I don't think he's a huge draw. I mean, I think for hardcore MMA fans, like everyone's going to want to tune in.
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely.
Even for casual fans, like if they see him, they might be like, "Oh, damn, that's a big dude." But I don't think he has that Brock Lesnar effect. He doesn't have that Conor McGregor effect. That everyone needs to watch this type of effect. And I think Dana White is very, he knows that.
Is that on Ngannou, or is
that
on maybe UFC's not doing a good enough job promoting him as a fighter?
I mean, I think the UFC does a fine job promoting. I mean, look at all these other fighters the UFC has, dude. Look at all these fighters they have. I mean, I hate to freaking always bring up his name, but Sugar Sean. I mean, all they do is play a couple replays of him, and he builds 2 million plus followers on Instagram from that. It's really like, I think it comes down to the team you have around you, as well as the promotion from the UFC. And it's like, dude, if you're getting main events in the UFC and you look like Francis and you perform like Francis, you should have no freaking problem being a draw. You should have zero problem. But it's just, he's not the most entertaining guy outside of the cage. He doesn't do a lot of content with. I mean, at least to my knowledge, I don't really keep up with him.
I haven't seen much either.
I don't know if he has like a YouTube or something like that. But I mean, take Sean for example. He has a YouTube. He has a Twitch. He has a TikTok. He has an Instagram. He has a Twitter. He's got every single avenue covered to where it's like he can somehow find a way to get into someone's screen and like possibly reach a new person, right? And just build up that casual fan base. Whereas Francis, I think it's a little more difficult for him, especially because English obviously isn't his first language. So he's always going to be a step behind there. And I mean, I just think it's not really that big of a loss for the UFC. I mean, in heavyweight, you still got John Jones waiting in the wings. Cyril Gane, if he beats Francis, he's already better than Francis, and then that kind of takes the luster away from Francis. Did I already say Stipe?
Nope, not yet.
Stipe?
Derek Lewis in non-title fights.
Derek Lewis. There's plenty of
Chris Dawkins,
plenty of big fish in there.
He's still on the come up there.
Yeah, so
fair.
It's kind of like Francis needs to figure out what he wants to do. If he wants to remain champion here, it's tough, man, because he's probably got a number and UFC probably has a number, and that's probably where the core of this argument stems from.
His agents also talk about how activity has actually been an issue, because really we've seen like 2 fights a year from Francis, 1 to 2. He wants to be that 3-fight fighter. So I thought that was actually a cool piece where he wants just more activity. Maybe the UFC's just not giving him that. But then again, to your point, it might just come down to, he wants activity, but he wants activity for a certain amount of money that the UFC isn't willing to give him.
Well, and he's under contract right now, so it doesn't even matter. So it's not like it's kind of a null and void point.
Good point. Yeah. It's a weird one, but I know that it doesn't matter who you are, there's one person that is feeling really happy about this dispute, and that's Khabib Nurmagomedov with his Eagle FC.
Yeah, he'll just sign Francis, dude.
Right? Jeez. And hell, I wouldn't be surprised they're putting the 165-pound division. I wouldn't be surprised if they put in like a super heavyweight, or they just do 225 and up. You know?
No, I think you'd have to do 265 and up.
265 and up? You think no heavyweight, but super heavyweight?
Or like 266, I guess.
Yeah.
Because you don't want people in there with big weight differences, man. I just think that would be kind of.
Are you saying you don't want another Bob Sapp?
No,
who's that sumo fighter we saw in like UFC 1 or 2? Remember that?
Dude, that was way before my time. I'd have to do some research on that.
That's right. It was in one of those really early cards. There was a sumo fighter, or at least like a real fat guy. So who knows? We might be able to see. It's a really weird situation. Obviously, it's essentially going to play out at UFC 270. So we're going to find out pretty soon about the real consequences that all of this is going to have.